Is it recording?
Yep, it's recording.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, afternoon, guys. Thanks for joining us. And Ruth, thanks again for putting this together. And what we're going to be talking about in this session is going to be some real estate apps that are going to help you to improve your business, help you to improve your workflow, and also a little bit of your communication with your clients. And I know all of you, you have your KW app, your clients have the Zillow app, and those are all of the very real estate related apps, of course. But what we're going to talk about is apps that are a little bit more peripheral, things that are going to help you with your timelines in terms of getting everything done, and also help you with your productivity when you're out and about. And also some kind of cool ones that you can integrate with your communication that you have with your clients. So a little outside the box thinking when it comes to some of these apps. And of course we could spend a whole week talking about apps, not cover all of the ones that you guys probably have or can use. But I have a lot of the ones that we're going to be talking about today on my website, which is michaeltritthart.com, and it's located underneath Sites for Business. And then when I go over there, I'm going to see a page that says Real Estate Apps. And I'm going to have a list that we're going to go through. Now, we're not going to be able to hit all of them in 1 hour, but we're going to go through, hit as much of these as we can.
Michael?
One of the things yes?
Somehow we don't see your screen.
You just minimized it, I think.
Okay, hold on just a moment.
There you go.
Okay. You got it?
Yep, we're good. Thank you.
Okay. So let me back that up just so you can see where I went. It's on my homepage, michaeltritthart.com, Sites for Business. And then when you go there, you're going to see Real Estate Apps. And when you see Real Estate Apps, you'll have the ability to go in and see all of the ones that we're going to be talking about. Now, of course, there's more out there that you guys use, and we'll have some time at the end to hear some feedback from those that are in attendance as to what are some of their favorite apps that we're talking or that we did not talk about. But also, I want to hear if you are using some of these apps. I'd love to hear some of the feedback from those in attendance and say, hey, I love this, and this is how I use it as well. And I've got this page broken down into 3 categories: organization, on the go, and then real estate client specific apps. And so we're going to start with organization, but instead of going straight down this page, I'm going to skip down a little bit to where we see Evernote and Evernote Scannable. And Ruth, you'll have to help me out here, but just by a show of hands, how many in the room use Evernote?
3.
3, okay. And those that use it, do you guys kind of dabble in it, or you're pretty good at using it? It's like your primary cloud service that you're using.
I use it a lot. I use it for some things.
Okay, we got a range. So, mostly
Okay.
some things and one a lot.
Which is normal. And what we probably can do is next month, when we do our webinar, we may want to talk about all Evernote and all the things that Evernote does. And here's the reason why: is you've got all these different apps, of course, but then you also have all these different cloud technology services out there. You got Google Drive, you've got iCloud, you've got Evernote, and then I think everybody in the world probably has Dropbox. I have Dropbox. And what I do is I use Dropbox for me and my business. And I'm saying me, my training business, my personal business. Google Drive is used by my team because it has more storage, and that's where they store a lot of their photos and their resources and things like that. But what I use Evernote for, Evernote is me and my brain. It's all the stuff that I need to know, but sometimes I forget those items, and then when I really, really need to know them, it would be kind of nice to have them there. And so that's what I use Evernote for, and it's completely free. And prime example, I went to Mega Camp in August. I drove down from Dallas. I was going to park at the hotel. Then they told me that valet parking is $45 a night, and I'm like, yeah, where's the nearest public parking? I'm not doing that. That's crazy. So across the street was public parking. I go and I park my car. It's 100 and something degrees out there. I'm in my suit and tie. Walk all the way across the parking lot to go and pay at the automated teller machine. And the first thing that they ask is, hey, what's the first 3 digits on your license plate? And pop quiz, I don't know how many people in the room would know that. I was one of the ones that did not know that. But what I had done many years ago is I had gone out and I had taken photos of my license plate on my wife's car and my car, and I stored that in Evernote. And I store all the stuff that I need to know in Evernote, and I have my personal items there. and it's not anything that somebody's going to use from a data mining point of view. It's just the things that you need to know. Another prime example of using this app and why I think everybody should think about using Evernote is Evernote has other apps that are associated to that. One of those is Evernote Scannable. Now, Evernote Scannable, completely free. Currently, it only works on the iOS platform, so Droid users, you're kind of out of luck on this one. But who knows? This may convince you to go to iOS, and all the Droid users roll their eyes, saying, "No way, is that ever going to happen?" But here's what you get with Evernote Scannable. One of the best scanning tools that's out there, and you really don't even have to use Evernote to use Scannable. Evernote is the mothership. Scannable is the peripheral app that can be associated to the mothership, or you can just use it standalone. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to come over here, open up my screen, so you guys should be seeing my my iPhone screen. Are you guys seeing that with all the different apps?
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do a search for Scannable. There it is. As soon as I click on it, it's looking for a document, and I have a little Chase handout sitting right next to me here. So I'm going to zoom that out. It found the doc. Now I can come over here, and if I want to send this document to anybody, if I want to send any of these other items to anybody, I can come over here, hit send, and when I say share, I can share this text message, email, Facebook, iCloud, Evernote. I have more options. I can save the images. I can copy them. I can open them. I can print them. If I want to and just hit mail, I can go over here and just send this to somebody, and it's going to show up as an attachment as a PDF. So I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I'm at a hotel in Monroe, Louisiana. I just pulled in, and I've got to get some documents to my wife. She called me. She's at the school, and they need forms signed by me for the kids and signed by her. And I said, okay, send those to me, and I'll print them out. And I print them out at the hotel, and I sign them. And then I'm looking around, and they, nobody has a fax machine anymore. And how am I going to get, scan to email? They didn't have that there. So how am I going to get this information to them? Remembered I had Scannable. I sent it to her. She got it in less than a minute while she was still standing there in the office. Super easy to share this information. And this information that I'm saving here, it doesn't have to go to Evernote. You don't have to be an Evernote user to have that. You can go out and look for other documents at any point. And when you go and find the documents, it just finds it that fast. Make sense?
Yes.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. So when you're out and about and you've got to be organized and you've got to get something to somebody, that's one of the best ones out there in my opinion. Something else that is connected to Evernote. Scroll down in the same section and you see where it says Sketch. And when I click on Sketch, Sketch is actually a program that you can download for your machine. I've got it right down here at the bottom of my machine. It can be downloaded onto your phones. And I'm going to give it a second for Sketch to open up on my Mac. But a couple years ago, I was teaching a class at Austin, in Austin at Market Center number 1, and Althea Osborne was in my class, and she's in her 80s, and she's got her 78-year-old assistant in there, and it's a 2-day tech workshop, and they're getting after it, and they're asking a bunch of questions and really getting into it, and I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, they're leading by example. And after day 1, Althea comes up to me and she goes, "Hey, is it okay if I have one of my good friends come and talk to the class for about 25 minutes tomorrow?" And I'm thinking, I'm kind of rocking this. Who are we going to be bringing in? And she goes, "Oh, his name is Rich. He's part owner and co-founder of Evernote. He's one of my friends." And I'm like, "Yeah, he can come in." Yeah, I'll give Rich a pass. He can only talk for 20 minutes, but he came in. And he talked about Sketch primarily. And what he does with Sketch was a big aha for me. How many of you, and you may not want to answer this one by raising your hand, but how many of you have a closet or a room at your house that when you have guests come over, you're like, whatever you do, don't open that room because everything in that room or that closet is going to fall out on you if you try to open that closet because it's just packed tight with everything. Well, Rich was that way. And for many years he was that way, but then Sketch rolls out and he helps to develop it. And so what he does with Sketch is whenever he gets a new printer, a new computer, a new this, a new that, he takes a photo of the barcode, of the box, of the training manual, or the instructional manual, and he stores that in Evernote. And what Sketch will allow you to do is, if you have it on your iPhone, you can come over here and you can grab images from your iPhone, or if you have it here, you can do a screen snap. Right here, I'm going to do a screen snap of just this selected area. And then now you can point arrows and say, hey, Sketch really needs to be one of these apps that you put on your phone. And here's why. I'm going to give you the text reason why. And then also, I'm going to say, you know what, we can actually put that app right here next to Waze. We'll just move Waze over and we put it right there. So you can go in and you can basically draw on the screens and do anything that you want. And everybody says, okay, how am I going to use this for real estate? You go out for a pre-listing, and somebody needs to work on their house, need to do some paint touch-ups, and we kind of did this one in class. You can see right here that we had arrows pointing to the house. They need to do some paint touch-ups. They got some roof work that they need to finish. You can go in and basically do anything that you want. You can point arrows to anything. You can have text descriptions. If you are talking with the inspector and the inspector says a certain part of the house needs to be repaired, maybe it's something in the roof, the water heater, whatever the case may be, you need to know exactly what piece. Then you can take a photo while you're standing there with the inspector and then have them circle exactly the part that needs to be repaired. How many of you have walked in before you go out for a pre-listing and you feel like you walked into an episode of Hoarders? Like, they're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff in this house. You take photos. Once you get the listing, to sell this house at maximum dollar, we need to thin this out. We need to remove this stack of newspapers. We need to get this over here. We need to clean up the toys in the backyard. And instead of verbally explaining that, you can go out and you can point arrows and draw on the screens and do everything else that you want. And the big aha for me when I heard Rich speaking about Sketch, we bought a house in 2007, and unbeknownst to us, when we bought the house, it was a 2-year-old home, that the house came with 45 paint cans from the previous owner, and I think about 39 of them were empty. But they were kept, and we kept them for one reason. And what was that reason? Color codes. So what I did is I went in and I took a photo of each one of those paint can lids with Sketch, and I put in notes on there and said, hey, this is my son's room, this is the master bedroom, this is whatever. And I have that in a folder inside of my Evernote program, and I have it in a notebook called Paint Cans. And so we recycled and you know, got rid of the paint cans the right way. We just didn't throw them in the can, you know, in the trash. We had the city come out and pick them up. And so now we've thinned out that whole section of our garage. We've got everything organized. We've got all the codes that we need, and it's all organized using Sketch and using Evernote. And I think that's probably one of the most powerful tools that you guys can use when you're out and about, and you've got to take some photos of property, or you got to take photos of anything that you need to share with your team, you need to share with clients that are out of states, that are wanting to know what needs to be fixed up. It's a powerful, powerful tool. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And Sketch will work on any platform. So you'll see on my website, I've labeled it if it's an iOS or if it's a Droid app. And Droid users, if there is, you know, like for instance with Scannable, if there is no companion Droid app, a lot of times you can go out and you can find substitutions, alternatives for those scannable options. And I do have some other scannable options that are on my page.
Michael?
Yes.
So do you launch Sketch from Evernote, or do you launch Sketch then upload to Evernote?
Both. You can do it either way.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because this is not an app, but you can see my mouse in the top right hand corner moving on this page right here, and this is called Clip to Evernote. And when I click on that, that is a web browser extension. And if I wanted to have, let's say I go out to CNN, let me just show you this. This is kind of cool. So I go out to CNN, and I click on this article with Biden, and I don't want all of the extra stuff that goes with it. Well, Evernote is going to allow me to go out and clip the article. And when I clip this article, I can say, give me the simplified article, which means it cuts out all the advertising and everything else. Just show me the simplified article, show me the full page. Or if I hit sketch, then I can come over and I can click on that, and you can hear Biden talking there in the background. So it's a pretty cool system that Evernote has created. They all talk to each other, but they don't have to talk to each other. They can be standalone if you want them to be standalone. Make sense?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a couple of other items that are out there. If I look over here, a lot of us have difficulty in focusing. Half the room just said, what? What did he say? I was playing Angry Birds, so I wasn't listening. If I come over here where it says focus at will, this is something that's talked about in the one thing. And when you go out and you download this, focus at will allow you to focus on your task at hand. And what it does is it plays soft classical music in the background, music that is based right here, as they say, on a neuroscience that is going to help you to increase your attention span up to 400% when working, studying, writing, reading. Instead of trying to do multitasking and listening to loud music and the TV and everything else, they get you into the right mindset with music. Another one that is pretty powerful along the same lines is called Full. And Full, which they say is now Coach.me, they've been acquired. What they do is they basically, it's very similar in how Dotloop works with the loop, and you try to complete the loop. What this app will allow you to do is go in and set up tasks for your team, for yourself, that are going to be weekly goals for the, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly goals, whatever the case may be. And when you accomplish those goals, it basically fills the circle. So for the high Ds that want to see a completion, they want to see that circle complete, and they want to see a status bar and attain that goal, this is the one for you. Now, one of the ones that I wish it worked in the United States right now, I have it on here because I just think it's a great idea, and I hope that it will come to the United States very, very soon, and I hope actually that Keller Williams International reaches out to this company and does this as part of BOLD, and this is called iCuckoo Charity Alarm Clock. And what this is, if you wake up, actually you don't want to wake up, the alarm goes off, you hit snooze, every time you hit snooze, it will donate to your favorite charity.
That is great.
So that'll get you out of bed, or that'll get you in a very charitable mood, one way or the other. Somebody's winning, right? And right now, this only works in the United Kingdom. So I hope that it comes over here to the States, and I hope that actually Keller Williams International integrates this with actually not BOLD, but Kitty Cares. I think this would be a great opportunity for Kitty Cares. Pretty cool, all right? So another one that I think is going to help you, and again, this is all about the organizational part of it, and you go straight down this page, Adobe Voice and Audio Note. Adobe Voice, when I click on this, you can create animated videos based off of your voice and based off of still shots. So you can go out, take a bunch of photographs, and then just basically talk over your story, and then it'll share this and create this video presentation. Now that is through Adobe. Something that I think is truly amazing, probably my favorite app. It's actually not on my real estate app page, and the reason why is I have it over here under Google, because it's owned by Google. And what this is Google Photos. Does anybody in the room use Google Photos, just by a show of hands?
The same as Picasso.
Is it the same as Picasa?
No, it's not. It's new. It's an app on your phone, and what it does, let me open this up right here, and I'm going to pull up my phone as well. So if I come over here and I go to Google Photos, if I can learn how to spell, hold on. There it is. When I click on Google Photos, what it will do is it will take your photos. There, we went to Cancun this past weekend for a wedding, but I can come over here and I can see all of the photos. So every photo I take on my phone, it automatically puts it into Google Photos. And everybody goes, ooh, uh-oh, I don't know. Every photo? Yeah, every photo. So you better be careful what kind of photos you're taking, number one. And then what it will do is while you sleep, a lot of times it will automatically go in and create collections based on your GPS and based on your type of photos. And this is the crazy, creepy, awesome part of it. It will even do facial recognition. So if you take a photo of your kids quite a bit, it'll start to recognize that, and then it'll start to combine all the photos of my daughter into one group. It'll combine all the photos of my son into a group. If I'm out teaching in Boston, it'll combine that as well. And everybody says, well, wait a minute, what does it combine it into? Let me show you. And we'll come back to my screen here in just a second. So this right here is a real estate example. And here's the great thing about Google Photos. And I'll paraphrase what Mike is saying here. It's like, if you're not using Google Photos for your Android or your iPhone, you should be. Video below was created automatically by the app. I took the photos and the video with the intention of creating a video, but like most agents, I was too busy to get it done and forgot about it. Then I was notified that I had a new video, so I decided to share it. What do you guys think? Google Photos will work. It's like magic elves. They'll work on the stuff while you sleep. The next day you wake up and you have a video done, you have a photo album done, you have a photo edit and effect done, and they just do it automatically. And it's crazy. Now you can do it yourself, but the program will also go out and just build things on its own. And so this is what happened. He went to sleep. The next day he woke up. This is what was ready for him. He didn't do anything to it. The music was already put there by Google Photos. The animation that they put to his still shots was all done by Google Photos. And this is something that he's going to use for real estate. You guys tell me what you think here.
Michael?
Yeah.
The question is, does that only work on phones?
No, you can use it on photos that you have on your computer as well.
Oh, so it's even panoramic? It's even setting it up as a panoramic?
Can you use that as a virtual tour, though?
Michael, do we still have you?
Yeah, I was just playing that. Did you guys hear it?
Yeah,
See it?
we couldn't hear anything, but we saw. So the question was, can that be set up? Can that be a do-it-yourself setup for a virtual tour?
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, that's basically what he was trying to do. It. He was doing it for Temecula Valley as a whole, but it could be done on your phone while you're still in the house. You've taken all the photos and the videos. You can just put it together, right? They put this one together. I just gave it the name, the Tritthart Clan Take McKinney, right? So when I click on this, it's 4 days in McKinney. They put all this together, and so when I click on it, so there's my son catching his first touchdown of the season, and then if I go to the next screen, here's what happened on September 10th, and then the girls are back in town. Ava and her volleyball team are back with their first practice. Here's all the photos. Then on day 3, it's Friday Night Lights, it's Texas, it's high school football, so we're watching my son, we're watching Friday Night Lights, and then we finish up the night by a little dance party on the trampoline. Ava and her friend do a little dance on the trampoline, and so they have a little fun. And so that is a collection that we can put together and we can share publicly if we want to. We can make it private. We can do whatever we want to do, and that is something that you guys can go out and use for your virtual tours as well. Completely free, pretty amazing, and a lot of times they'll go in and just start to put the collections together on their own.
And Michael, you said that it adds the music and everything. Is any of that, is it editable if you don't? Or
Yeah, if you don't like the music, you can edit it. And what they did right here, this is some July 4th stuff, and they did like the the Super 8 type of editing to it, like you were looking at it on an old film strip.
Huh.
And so you'll wake up and you'll have your stuff done for you, or you can make it yourself. Crazy. Right here, if I want to make it myself, I hit create an album, and then it goes and finds all the photos, and if I wanted to, I can go out and pull all the photos from our trip and plug that in there. So you guys go out and take a bunch of photos for your next listing, take some video, open up Google Photos right here on your phone. Come back over to the phone, close up the dancing girls there. And then if I wanted to make my own, I hit the plus sign. And what do I want to make? Do I want to make an album? Do I want to make a movie? Do I want to make a story? Do I want to make animation? Or do I want to make a collage? Because how many of you have photos, not just of your kids, but you have photos of your listings, and you want to get those out there, but then you got to send it over to the virtual assistant, and they got to put it all together, and it's going to cost money for you to do all that, and you just want to get it done and get it done quickly. A lot of these that I put together, like the Tritthart clan that takes McKinney, I put that together in 5-10 minutes before a class. Super easy. Did it all on my phone. Make sense?
Yeah.
Questions on that one? What do you guys think? It's a new one, so I'm curious. What do you guys think of that one?
It looks familiar to iPhoto, but it's a little more automated.
It is. You know, and Google right now, they're not really going out and making completely brand new stuff always. I mean, sometimes they do, but a lot of times they take what's already out there and kind of put their spin on it and make it a little bit better. And I think that's what they're doing right here.
Is there a
Okay?
flow to the virtual when you're doing it instead of it jerking?
We're wondering if the transition from photo to photo is smooth, because it came across kind of jerky and fragmented a little bit. So we're wondering if
I think that's just because we're on a webinar.
right,
If you
okay,
guys go out and look at it on your own, like when I'm looking at it on my phone, it's pretty smooth.
okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't think that's going to be a big concern. And the thing about it though is it's completely free. So download it, try it, and if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you, and then you can go back to using your system that you want. But I think that's a great way to really save some time and money and effort to get something pretty amazing out there and do it pretty quickly. Okay?
Very cool.
Any other questions on photos, Google Photos?
I do.
All right, so a couple.
Michael, I assume that
Yep.
if I've got hundreds of video or pictures on my phone already,
Mm-hmm.
and I download the Google Photos, it'll just pick up and clean it up from.
It'll take all of them. It'll take all of them. And based on the date and time and your GPS location, it'll start to create some scrapbooks automatically as well.
And so then when I go get another phone, I mean, am I storing those pictures now on a different cloud?
No, it's basically just within the app itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say that Google Photos, you get it and it gets all the photos inside of there, but then your phone falls out in the river, and every photo on your phone is destroyed. You go get a new phone, you download the Google Photos on that app, you use the same login because it's your Google login, and all your photos that you had on the older phone are there in Google Photos.
So it is a cloud. It is a cloud, yeah.
I
Sweet.
couldn't hear that one.
So it is in a cloud.
It is in a cloud. It's in Google's cloud. And another thing too, let me show you this. So we're talking real estate apps, but this all connects a lot to Google Drive. If I go out to Google Drive, which I have on my machine, but if I go out and I download, well, not download, but let me log in to Drive going this way. So if I come over here to Drive, then I see Google Photos right over here as well. And so what I can do now is I can have all my photographs stored in my Drive, and if I need to share this out, then I can share this out. So I want to send this to Grandma because it's Jake playing football. Then I can come over here and I can click get a link, and I can just share that link over there as well.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Make sense?
Yep.
It's pretty awesome. Okay? Google does some amazing things. I think we said it before in another class. Google owns the world, and we just happen to live in it. Now, some other things that are pretty awesome, and I think this was more like in case of emergency, break glass and use Log Me In. I don't know if anybody in the room has ever had this before, but your leaving your home office, when you're heading for a listing presentation, and then you realize the item that you needed is on your computer at the office. And you're halfway to the presentation. It's no sense in turning back. What you can do at that point is you can use Log Me In from your phone or your iPad or your tablet. And what it will do is it will allow you to log in remotely to your home machine, to your machine at the office, whatever the case may be, and have remote access to go and get that file, drag it, drop it over into Google Drive, Dropbox, email it to yourself, do whatever you need to do. It's the same type of system that if you've ever had the cable company or AT&T remote access into your Outlook so they can fix the settings and the mouse takes off and starts to work on its own. It's the same thing, and that's what you would use for your business, is Log Me In.
And Michael, the question is, does your the computer at the office need to be turned on?
It has to have power to it, but let's say it's in sleep mode or whatever, Log Me In will go in and kind of nudge it and wake it up.
Wow. Even if the lid's closed?
So as long as you got power to it, you can wake it up.
Huh.
It's a must. I mean, it's that you're not going to use it every day, most of you, but it'll be that one where you're like, oh my gosh, I really need to get into that machine. That's the one that's how you can do it. Let's say you're on vacation, you're sitting on the beach, and somebody's asking a question about something that's on your machine, and you can log into it real quick and check it out and then jump back off.
Application.
Other ones too that are pretty handy, and this is really for more of the Apple users. A lot of times you go out and you want to show some videos on YouTube, but then it says, sorry, Flash not supported. It's an older video. Flash was used to create it. It says, sorry, Flash not supported. So one of the things that I have on all of my machines, I still have Safari, but I don't really use Safari. What I've done instead is I use Puffin. Puffin is the bird right down there at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And when I click on Puffin, what that's going to be is that's going to be the browser that I use instead of Safari. And the reason why is that it shows video. I don't have to worry about, sorry, Flash not supported or anything else like that. So if I'm going to go out and I'm going to do a presentation and I've got an iPad and I want to show them a virtual tour that's out on YouTube, I want to make sure that that's going to come up. And if I use Puffin, it's going to come up. Is anybody in the room speak another language?
Yes.
What do we speak?
I speak Spanish.
Spanish.
Spanish. So if I hit reshare, this one's pretty cool. So I pull up an article and it's in English and I want to reshare it in Spanish, then I can go and I can copy it and then it'll reshare it into a different format, into a different language format. Or I find a Spanish article, I can reshare that into English. We have a lot of our agents here in the Texas area using this because we have Toyota moving in, and so we have a lot of Toyota executives, and so they're posting an article about how great Plano, Texas is, which is where Toyota's moving, and they want to share that in Japanese, and so they're going out and they're sharing that in Japanese and promoting that.
Amazing.
Pretty much anything you want to do in the world, there's probably an app out there to do it. Now, let's come down here to where we're on the go. So these are items where I'm out and about. I need to make sure that I kind of have my real estate utility tool belt handy because it's going to make my mobile office a little bit smoother. But I want to start off with this one. This is Agent's Armor. And what this is, and unfortunately this has become a little bit more timely because we've had a lot of real estate agents. You know, there was a lady a couple months ago in Arkansas that was killed. We've had some incidents down here in Texas where people were robbed, attacked, whatever the case may be. Well, what Agent's Armor is going to do, it's a mobile app that's personally designed for your safety. And so when you go in here, it's going to notify people of when you're going out for a showing, when you've got a listing, you've got open houses. You can double tap this for 911, so if it's an emergency and you got to do it real quick, you can go in and use any of these tools. Voice notes, image capture, notepad, it's all saved right there. So let's say you're doing an open house and somebody walks in and the very first thing they ask about is the medicine cabinet. And you're like, okay, a little creepy, a little weird. Then you can take some notes, maybe take their photo. And it's all stored right there and it can be shared with the police. This one's awesome. Chicago Title Walking Farm. And so what you can do here is basically you can create your farm, so your neighborhood that you're going to market. You can then draw your map of how you're going to walk, right? And then they're going to pull the data, and they're going to be able to tell you some data about that neighborhood. They're going to be able to tell you, is this neighborhood owner-occupied, or is it a renter? And then, as you start to walk and knock, there's everybody, in order. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4 Main Street, and then here's the next one, and so forth. So before you go to the door, you're talking to the owner-occupied home, or you're talking to a rental home. And then as you talk to them, you can save your notes right there as well.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So when you're going out and really farming and working that neighborhood, I think that's going to be an essential tool for you. Come on down. We've got Faster Scan HD. We've got Genius Scan HD. These are basically scanners. So instead of using Evernote Scannable, if you wanted to use those, you could do those. I Annotate. This is pretty cool in the fact that I can come over here and I can pull up a PowerPoint, a Word file, a this, a that, or whatever the case may be, and I can then draw on it. So it's kind of like Sketch, except Sketch is photo-based, whereas this is document-based. Somebody sends me a PowerPoint, I can go in and I can make my notations on the screen and then share it back to them via Drive, via Dropbox, email, whatever the case may be. I think everybody in the room probably has Google Maps, and you should have Google Maps. It's very powerful, and Maps is kind of the go-to when it comes to the mapping world, except lately, Waze has kind of stepped it up. I used Waze years ago. Here it is right here, Waze, W-A-Z-E. Google actually bought them, and so they're now owned by Google. But you can go in and you can start to plug in the addresses of where you want to be and where you need to be and all that good stuff. And it's going to go in, and if I need to get to the airport, it's going to go in, it's going to calculate my ETA time, my miles, and then if I hit go, it's going to start going right now. But the thing about it is, and the reason why I kind of have switched over to that versus Google Maps is the real-time notifications have gotten stronger in Waze. If there's a cop sitting a mile ahead of me, it'll tell me cop on the right. Slow down. So it's almost like I don't need my scanner anymore. I don't need any of that other type of stuff. I can go in and I can just use Waze. If it tells me that there's a car disabled on the left, it'll notify me. In a half mile, car disabled on the left. Be alert. And so you can go in and not only get to your destination faster, but you can also be notified of any upcoming incidents that may affect your drive. And so that's Waze, W-A-Z-E. Pretty easy to download, pretty useful as well. Come on down a little bit. Is anybody in the room, Ruth, by show of hands, anybody in the room use Instagram?
We have about a third of the audience.
Okay. So Instagram, of course, is photos. It can be used on your App Store for Apple and also Google Play. But what you can do as well is you come over here. They have, now this is only on Apple so far, they have what's called hyperlapse. And hyperlapse will allow you to go out and do some really cool things with Instagram. And here's an example. This is a city promo that Atlanta put together. They called it Atlapse. So they put it together on hyperlapse. It's got some music to it. You guys probably won't hear the music. But what you can do is you can go in and you can speed up or slow down the effects. And so if you're promoting the seasonal change in Colorado Springs, that's something that you guys can do. It's kind of cool to do something maybe for a neighborhood, maybe for a party, festival, or something that's just kind of a promo about moving to Colorado Springs. Completely free. And it's all done on your phone. Come down a little bit farther. You get into a lot of the like the little moments and the made with over, and everybody goes, well, what is all that? That's basically going in and adding that extra text to a photo. So a lot of you post on Instagram, a lot of you post on Facebook. Use these tools first to put a little bit extra on it. Let's say instead of it saying my happy place, it does say my happy place, but it's a backyard with a view of the mountains, and it's got a fireplace, and it's just like the perfect, Colorado oasis, and you want to go out and you want to promote that, and it's one of your new listings. You add that extra little bit of text onto that before you post, and it just pops, and everybody's like, oh, wait, what is that? Because when people are on Facebook, they're scrolling, scroll, and all of a sudden they see text on the photo, they're going to back up and go, wait a minute, what is that? And they're going to stop, and they're going to click. And so little moments, made with over, right here, they all do that. There's another one down here called Word Swag. It does that as well. There's others that are out there that are pretty strong. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know as we move through this. I'm trying to hit as many of these as we can in an hour, but not go too fast to where I'm just running right over it. I want you guys to understand it, and if you have questions, let me know. This one is a new one. Very popular. Periscope. Now, this will suck up your data like nobody's business, so be aware of that, right? But what will happen is I can go out and I can, like it says, explore the world through somebody else's eyes. This is basically like live, raw, unedited data streaming. And how am I going to use this in a real estate world? Let's say you got an open house coming up on a Sunday. You can do a pre-open house. You go in, open up your camera, and you'll start to walk everybody through that house. And you can see the little hearts on the screen popping up. And people are down here at the bottom asking questions. Now, type your questions back to them, but when somebody asks you questions, you can say, oh, yeah, the answer to that is this. You can verbalize this. So they can hear you, but they have to type in their questions. So agents are using this for a pre-open house opportunity. Or let's say you have an out-of-town buyer, it's husband and wife, and they want to see every house known to man in Colorado Springs that is for sale, just to make sure that they choose the right house. Well, you and your buyer's agent, one of you take the husband, the other takes the wife. You guys go and knock out that list separately, and then if the husband or the wife have found a house that they think the other one might like, periscope it to them while you're sitting there. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, we have a question. Hold on.
Does it just
Go ahead.
to the cloud, or is it just to the people receiving it? Do they have to be in your Periscope, for instance?
The question is, who sees it as when you're sharing it? Is it have to be in your circles, or how do you get your audience?
So basically, anybody can log into Periscope to see it, and so you would have to go out and promote it. It's kind of like promoting a channel, and you got to have people go out there and use it. Prime example of this, though, it was in August, and I was teaching in Rockwall, Texas, and that day it was 110. It was miserable. And we were talking about Periscope, and a couple days before that it was 115. It was even hotter. And I had one of the people in the class go, you know what? Here's how I use Periscope. I got onto Periscope, and one of the things you can do is you can have your set list of followers, but you can also look and just see who's on Periscope right now. And she goes, it was so stinking hot, I wanted to go to the beach that day. So I went and I found that was in Los Angeles. And I started just to follow the raw feed, and it was them sitting on the beach with their camera facing the water. And I started asking them questions. I said, what's the temperature today? And then they go, temperature today is 68 degrees. And she's like, it's 115 outside, 68 sounds so nice. And then she's like, she's typing the question, can you walk to the water? And so the two things are walking down to the water and doing all the other type of information. So you can follow anybody, but you can also have your set list, and you can promote that you're going to be on Periscope at noon on Saturday to promote your new listing. Make sense? Now, another one that I think is pretty amazing in dealing with video, and I'll let you guys watch this one later because he'll walk you through exactly how to do it, but I'll go ahead and open up the screen. This is called Videolicious. And what Videolicious will do is you are in the house, you take your still shots, you take your videos, they will allow you to do your initial intro, hey, this is Michael, and here's what we do and how we do it. Then you do voiceover, and they put music to it. And if you watch this video right here, I know you guys probably can't hear the audio, but he's walking you through it all. If you watch this video, he'll walk you through how to exactly use Videolicious. Tons of agents out there are using Videolicious to get their video tours done while they're right there in the house.
Wow.
Super easy to use. Now, this one's kind of fun. It's kind of quirky. It's kind of different. But Ruth, help me out again on this one. By a show of hands, how many in the room are artists? Is there any painters in the room?
We have two.
Two. What's the medium? Do we do watercolors?
What kind?
Water and oil.
Water and oil.
Water and oil. Well, I do water too, but I do it through Waterlog. I became an artist overnight for $2.99. Here's what I'm talking about. Let me come over here to my phone. Actually, let me get it back in there. But if I go to Waterlog, download this app, I go to my phone. Oop, hold on, hit the wrong button. Moved on in here. Close all that. Waterlog. Open this up. Find some photos. So go to my photo library, or maybe take a photo right there. But I'm going to find a photo of my 75-pound lap dog. He thinks he's a lap dog. It's a white boxer. But if I come over here and I choose this photo and I click on it, Waterlog will take this photo and turn it into a watercolor.
That's funny.
And so what you can do is this: you go out, you got a new listing, you end up getting a closing. You know you're going to be going to closing, and maybe you want to give them a little gift. You go out and you watercolor a photo of their dog that you've taken while you're out showing their house, and you give it to them as a little closing gift. They're going to think you're the best thing ever. You flip it over. You got buyers. They bought this new house, and you go, you know what? Man, working with you guys was great. It was so great. I decided to do a watercolor of the house that you just purchased, and I want to give it to you as a friend gift. Right? And they're going to think you're like the best agent ever. They painted our house? Oh my gosh, that's crazy, right? And I had one agent go, I can even go out and I can purchase watercolor paper, and I can put it on the paper and frame it. And I said, yes, you can. They're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So you can pretty much watercolor everything. The only thing I say be careful about watercoloring with this is people's faces, because I'll do this one. I haven't tried this photo yet, but that's my wife and myself. I'm sure we're going to look like zombies because it just doesn't do the eyes very well. Yeah, it kind of makes us look a little freakish, right? So landscape is going to work the best. Right? I look like a vampire in that one. But that is something you guys can use for a lot of your landscaping, especially with the mountains out there and everything else. I think that's going to be a really cool one that you can kind of use. And I've even seen agents start to use that for their websites. Like they'll go out and they'll take photographs of the entryway to the neighborhood, and they'll watercolor it and then use that photograph just to be a little bit different. So again, think outside the box. A couple more. This one's pretty cool. This is called Color Snap Studio. You go out, show a property, they walk in and they go, I love this house, but that wall is eggplant purple. Ugh, I'm not buying this house. I mean, some of you may have had this situation where you have buyers that just can't get past the color of the wall. I mean, that can be fixed. It's paint, but the color is just turning them off. So what you can do is this. With Color Snap Studio, you go in, you take a photo of the wall, and then you can say, well, what color do you like? Well, we kind of like Tuscan red, or we like this, or we like a little more of an earth tone. Then you can choose all your different color palettes, and then you can color the wall with those colors. And it's Sherwin-Williams colors.
I love it.
And then they go, oh, okay, now I kind of see it. Or maybe they walk in and they go, I love that eggplant purple. Is that eggplant purple, or is that another shade of purple? You take a photo of that, and then you can take that and color match it to whatever Sherwin-Williams color is out there.
Jeez.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Crazy. Crazy efficient, though. Another one that's good, come down. This one is basically like real estate crack. This is Hal's interior design. I don't know if anybody's ever been on Hal's before, but I showed this to my wife. We were going to redo the backyard. I said, go check out Hal's. I think you might like it. About 4 hours later, I go back to bed. She's still on her phone. And the first thing she tells me, she's like, I hate you. And she's just sitting there scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. Because what you can do is you can look at ideas. It's like a scrapbook for your house. And what you can do is if you want to fix up the bathroom, you want to fix up the kitchen, the living room area, the backyard, whatever the case may be, you have all of these photos, thousands of them to choose from, and you can start to save them. It's like Pinterest for your house. And so when you are maybe working with a couple that wants to buy an older home and fix it up, but they can't really see what it could be, like they can't envision the backyard looking like that, then you share a house with them, and then they're like, oh my gosh, we could do this, we could do that. It just gives them so many different ideas. Plus, you can even purchase items that are in the images. So let's say that you love that mirror that you saw. A lot of times they'll have like a little green tag on it swinging. And if it's swinging, then that means it's available for purchase. So I've had some husbands that have been in my classes before, and they're like, shut up. You just cost me $40,000 of a remodel of a bathroom, or of a kitchen. Because my wife's over here elbowing me going, this is the best app ever. Another couple that you can use, if I come on down, let's go down to Great Schools, right here, Great Schools Finder. And when I click on Great Schools Finder, I'm in the house, I'm showing property. They go, I love the house, but tell me again, which elementary school does this feed into? Then it'll tell you. It'll tell you all the nearby schools, elementary, middle school, and high school. Anything that has the green will also go in and show you the private schools. Now you still need to know school boundaries. So it's going to show all the nearby elementary schools. You as a professional, you still need to know your school boundaries and things like that. But you can say, hey, look, the elementary school is just 3 blocks away. They can ride their bike or they can walk home. Super easy, no major roads for them to cross. Another one that you can do, come on down a little bit farther. How many of you in the room use, or not use, but do open houses? Quite a bit of you do open houses still?
Yep.
Okay. So one of the best ones for that is Open Home Pro. Click. And what I do here, instead of having people sign in on a piece of paper, I use Open Home Pro. I hand over my iPad, and I make sure that they don't walk off with it. But when I hand over my iPad, the first thing about handing over an iPad is everybody goes, oh, cool, because they get to use an iPad. And they can go in and they can sign in, and I can basically put in my visitor notes about what they're looking for. They see all the details about the property. They see also additional nearby listings. So maybe they don't like this one. I can show them some others. And then I have questions that I can ask them. Here's 3 questions that you can ask. And you can ask more than 3, but I would say keep it short and sweet. And then by the time they finish all this out and they're walking to the door, the system has already emailed them saying thank you. Here's a summary of everything we talked about, and it also has a drip campaign. This used to be a $19.99 app. They're now offering it for free. I think anybody who does open houses, I think you guys need to use that app. It's crazy. Crazy awesome. Come on down a little bit farther. This one's cool. See, click, fix. How many of you have gone out to show property, amazing house, but there's a huge pothole in the middle of the road, or one of the stop signs has been knocked over, or the street light lamp is out and the lid to it's kind of swinging in the wind. It just doesn't look very good, or there's a code issue 3 doors down. Amazing house that you're looking at, but it looks like a safari 3 doors down because they haven't mowed in over a year. You use See, click, fix to submit this. It will submit it to the city for free, and the city will come out and fix everything. So it's basically like you become the school monitor, the hall monitor for the city. If you see anything that's happening, you submit it. You submit it for free, and it can be anonymous. So you can be the crazy cat lady turning everybody in, right? Not HOA. It's city property only. And the reason why I share this is a couple years ago we had a crack in the gutter, concrete gutter out in front of our house, city property, and it got worse, big enough to where my daughter wiped out on a razor, my son wiped out on his bike. It was a hazard to my kids. But then it's one of those things of, well, which department do I go and talk to? I don't know, where to go. I don't even know who to talk to. Got to go to the other side of town. I'm just not going to do that. I found See, click, fix. I submitted it. I submitted it on a Saturday to the city of McKinney. By Monday, they had spray painted the area to fix, and within a week, they fixed it. Pretty amazing. So that's just a taste of some of the apps that I have on this page, and I'm sure there's more out there that you guys are using that we didn't get a chance to touch on. But just out of curiosity, as we wrap up here, what were the 3 that I mentioned where you went, wow, that's pretty cool, I think I'm going to use that? What was one of them?
Google Photos.
Google Photos.
Google Photos.
Waterlog.
Waterlog.
Yeah, interior design.
House.
And what was the other one?
House interior design.
Oh, the house.
House. Yeah, Houzz. That is the most addictive one of them all, so just be ready for that. You'll click on that one, and then 5 hours later, you'll still be looking at photos. Your clients will do the same as well. All right, so that concludes the 1-hour real estate app class. Thanks, you guys, for being here. And then Ruth and I are going to be doing another session in November. And if you've got some topics that you are of interest in knowing more about, share that with Ruth. Otherwise, we can maybe look at doing some more Google items. We can also look at maybe doing a full hour on Evernote and just making sure you understand exactly what you can do with all the great things that Evernote provides to you.
Michael, could I ask you if you, kind of as an insider on this, can you give us any updates on the Playster websites?
The short answer, no, because I have been asking for some updates because the rollout's supposed to happen in October, and it's going to be a very limited rollout, 5,000, and it was supposed to happen earlier in October. It has not happened yet. I've asked for an update on the date, and I have not gotten a response yet. So they're in stealth mode right now. I think a lot of what you're seeing with the interruptions with KW.com in the past couple of days means that they're installing certain elements for that, because a lot of times we'll see a little bit of outage on KW.com right before Mega Camp, right before Family Reunion, because they're rolling out new things and they've got to upload it and test it and make sure it's all working. And so I think that is partly what's happening. So I think the first group is going to be imminent. Hopefully it's going to be this week when they get the stuff, but I don't have any release dates yet.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
All right.
Well, Michael, as always, I have to say that I've heard several comments, and one comment that seems to be repeated over and over is what a wealth of information that you are. It's
I appreciate that.
Amazing to us how you can stay connected to so many of these ever-changing apps. So we appreciate the fact that you join our world once a month.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. You too. Bye.
Bye. Okay, the one thing we've got, wait, let me make sure I've got the stuff recorded.